This week on Three Questions with Corey Kareem.
That's like saying you and me, we're different. We can be in the same space, but there's people that like your delivery. There's people that like who you are. There's people like how you say it. There's people like who you come from. The same thing for me. There's no competition, bro. That don't exist.
No competition.
It don't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. The fake saturation that you believe in is the reason why you're not successful.
Clockwise, 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 clockwise. Never turn back. Only go clockwise. Never go back.
Now, before we get started with this beautiful conversation, please help a brother out and click on that follow button on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Enjoy the conversation.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Three Questions with Corey Kareem, the podcast where we sit down with some amazing people who are doing some amazing things. And that's right. You guessed it. We ask them 3 questions, sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know. But rather than just talk about their wins and their successes, we start the conversation around their failures, more specifically, the lessons that they learn from those individual experiences. So, with that being said, my next guest is podcast royalty. In fact, some may refer to him as the podcast king. Is that right? Y'all refer to him as the podcast king? Yeah. Not only is he an accomplished digital media entrepreneur, but he's also a passionate advocate for empowering entrepreneurs and business owners to achieve unprecedented growth and success. Currently residing in now Miami, Florida, my guest has a relentless passion for his craft. He has honed his skills and knowledge through years of experience in the fashion and real estate industry. With that being said, his path to success wasn't easy. At a young age, he faced heart-wrenching losses, losing his mother to the devastating grip of drugs, his father to the relentless battle against AIDS, and his beloved grandmother to lung cancer. These experiences, although traumatizing, has allowed him to transform his pain into unwavering determination to make a positive impact in the world. His mantra, success loves speed. Imperfect action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. So, without further ado, the Brandon Boyd. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Let's go. You know what I'm saying? All right, Corey, appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?
I got to shout out ChatGPT for helping me to
that,
remix that a little bit.
I knew that was ChatGPT. I was like, yo, this sounds like ChatGPT.
I have my own little flair on it, though.
I'm like, this sounds like ChatGPT right here. Nah, that was dope, bro. I appreciate you.
So Brandon, first of all, thank you for blessing the platform. So I know I gave you quite a bit of an intro, but is there anything you want to add to the introduction I just gave you?
Bro, honestly, I kind of blocked all that stuff out, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I think it's important for you know, like you setting the stage. Your audience isn't familiar with me.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to plant a seed. They get a little understanding. But for me, a lot of stuff I done blocked out, right? Because I feel like even with the losses, I feel like if you keep a loss, or you hold on to a loss, you're gonna hold on to that loss.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So like, if you go to the gym, you sweaty, you dirty, you don't take a shower, you still sweaty and dirty. The next day, guess what? You sweaty and dirty. Day after that, you sweaty and dirty. So you got to take care of that. You got to cleanse yourself. Shower, new clothes, you know what I'm saying? New energy. And then you fresh. You ready to take on that next step. A lot of people, they're not cleaning on the inside. They're not cleaning the outside. So they're holding on to them losses. And as a result of them holding on to the losses, they're moving forward in life physically because they're getting older. But at the same time, they're still stuck.
100%.
And a lot of people are stuck in 2019, 2018, 2005. You know what I'm saying? So though I go back to those moments because those moments help to build who I am, I don't stay in those moments. So sometimes people got to remind me, like, oh, yeah, I did lose my mom. I did lose my dad, you know, grandma, you know what I'm saying? Or, oh, I did have a clothing company for 10 years. Oh, I didn't run 2 marathons. I forget. Because I don't hold on to those things. I accomplished those things, I moved on. Right. Or I've been able to heal myself or work through personal development and become the person that I am. I'm a different person than I was yesterday. I'm a different person than I was a minute ago. We all grow and we evolve. So if I stay in that loss, I'm going to stay there.
Yeah, so Brandon, that was a perfect segue. Because as you know, with my podcast, or as you may know, I like to start the first question around difficult moments, difficult times, how people overcame those challenges in their life. So, reading from your bio, obviously you experienced a lot of losses in a short period of time. So I'm really curious to know, what did you do to get over those difficult moments? And most importantly, what did you learn from that experience?
You got a pair of dice?
Not on me.
All right, well, cool. So to me, those moments was like dice. It was like playing a dice game.
Yeah.
Or playing a card game. Meaning, if you shuffled or if you gave me the dice and I rolled, what came up is what I'm dealing with. So I never ever felt bad for myself, like, oh damn, my mom's whatever, right? I always looked at it like this was just what I deal with. So what I'm going through is no different than what you have gone through. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? So I lost my mom, dad, grandmom, aunt, uncle. One of my brothers got shot. One of my best friend, he OD'd on Oxycontin. I can go on, bro. Mad things that probably would have somebody depressed. You know what I'm saying? But what I've experienced, if you didn't experience that type of loss, but you've experienced some type of tragedy or obstacle, some type of adversity, that's like my version of what you experienced at whatever time in your life. So I can't say my stuff is worse or, bad, in comparison to what you experienced. So for me, like poetry, bro, like when I was in college, I took a creative writing class. So that helped me because I was able to get all my feelings out. I didn't bottle it up. I didn't hold on to it, and then that influenced me to do something else or not do something else. I was always expressing myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a tattoo. I don't even know, bro. Tattoo right here that says Lost Son.
Right.
Lost Son was who I was as an author, expressing myself during a time period of me losing everything while in college.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So even though those losses happened before college, I was able to express myself while I was in college by taking these creative writing classes through poetry, spoken word, creative writing, you know what I'm saying? Even how I was treating women, I got it all out. Even if I was on a train, and I saw somebody, I would imagine why they on this train, where they going. I would just write it out. Yeah. Oh, they're meeting this person, Oh, this just happened. I would create, these own stories in my mind, but it allowed me to release things. So I use that combination to kind of like heal and get everything out. I was really looking to just get every thought out to the point where writer's block happened. You know what I mean? So like poetry or free writing, it was very like easy for me to do. I can make a story out of anything. But at some point, because I got everything out, I couldn't even write anymore. I couldn't even create a message at that time because I had exhausted everything. So that helped me heal and get over it.
Right. Writing's important. I used to have a journal. I still have it.
I lost my shit.
It did get me into trouble one time. That's a story for another episode.
She shouldn't be going through your stuff, bro.
This is a story for another episode. But no, man, talking about tattoos, I got one on my left bicep. And this was when I was at my darkest times. I was like, everything I had planned went to the wayside. Let's talk podcasts. You are the podcast king.
I mean, that's what the people adore me with. I ain't look for that. I've been on multiple stages, multiple podcasts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what people are saying. So I'm gonna just, grow with it. If that's what they're saying, I'm the people's champ. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. So, obviously something that you're pretty good at and you're well known for. So my question is, why podcasts, and how and what did you do to become this like podcast guru?
Why not podcasting?
That's a fair question.
Why not? What else are we gonna do? Everybody got a message, right? So I think this platform allows people to get the message out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think podcasting is there's no one way to do it. Even down to the type of equipment that you utilize. Right. No one's using the same. Right? So all the platforms is easy to do. You could do it with no money. You could do it with a lot of money, high budget, right? You could do it solo. You could do run and gun style. You can have a studio. You can pay a studio. You have a studio at the crib. Virtual. I mean, for a while, my podcast was straight. I would travel. I just had a suitcase, all my equipment in there. So I would pull up on people and just shoot. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. You could do it so many different ways. So I think that number one, it's an even playing field. Anyone can do it. Anyone can get started. Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, you have a story. Everyone likes conversing. everyone's talking anyway. So let's just roll a camera, set up some mics, get some quality content, and then, maybe our conversation is gonna inspire and influence anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But me getting in this space, I can't take full credit for it. I gotta, there's people that planted the seed. You know what I'm saying? Down to one of my best friends, David, he planted the seed for me vlogging.
Right.
That turned into me podcasting, right? Because I wanted to interview people and I was vlogging. I was like, this vlogging is cool, but I don't feel like people wanting to know about me yet. That's just my thing. So I'm like, well, what if I just highlight other people? So I was just doing that on the side. I started investing heavily in myself when I got my real estate license in California. I was already licensed in Massachusetts for like 8 years. I just got it in Cali when I moved. But while I'm doing this, I'm like, I'm still doing this pod.
Mm-hmm.
I'm investing in myself heavily. Why? Because I wanted to learn how to make money online faster than just showing people properties and stuff like that. And then I had 2 additional friends like, yo, I don't know, like what you're doing over here is dope. And I can see you got some success. But I think there's more to this podcast thing that you're ignoring or you're not really paying attention to. They didn't know what it was either, but they were just like, yo, you should just pay more attention to this.
Right.
So I spent like 3 weeks stewing over it, kind of going through my own personal process. And I was like, Eureka, I got it. You know what I'm saying? And that was basically what I was already learning over here. Investing myself with these coaches and these programs, these mentors, and my marketing acumen from all my times, in the clothing industry. And then what I was doing in the podcast. And essentially I just mirrored it. But my version of it was just like, oh, I can see how I can make money in it. I can see how I can leverage it. I can see how this is a valuable asset. And that's really how it happened. So I have to give it up to people that saw something in what I was doing and then kind of forced me to take a closer look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the space is overcrowded?
Nope, I don't believe in that.
Really?
Nope.
Elaborate.
We can go to Publix right now, bro. We can go down the bread aisle. How many different brands of bread?
Okay.
Right? And they all got customers. Some people like the Wonder. Some people like the Publix brand. You know what I'm saying? They stocking every month.
Right.
Ain't no saturation. That's like saying you and me, we're different. We could be in the same space, but there's people that like your delivery. There's people that like who you are. There's people like how you say it. There's people like who you come from. The same thing for me. There's no competition, bro. That don't exist.
No competition.
It don't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. The fake saturation that you believe in is the reason why you're not successful. Obviously, I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to somebody who the message is for.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you're not putting out shows. That's the reason why you're not monetizing. That's the reason why you're stuck. Because you believe in this figment of your imagination, which is called saturation, and that's preventing you from being great. It don't exist. We can go get some sunglasses at Sunglass Hut, bro.
Right.
They got a whole thing of sunglasses. And not only do they got a whole thing of sunglasses, they got mad styles. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no saturation. It don't exist. We live in a world of abundance. So I don't believe it.
Right. So you brought up a good point. You're talking about that mentality. Someone that sees competition and is kind of stuck in that mentality. Let's just call it neutral.
Someone that sees competition is a small thinker.
Okay. So if we're talking to that individual right now, what's one step?
They need to read a book. Or they need to go to audiobook.
What's one book you would recommend?
So what I would do is right now is one of my digital mentors, Bar Proctor. There's a book I listen to all the time. You know what I'm saying? I would recommend that book. I don't remember the name right now. What's the name of it? You remember? Change your paradigm, change your life. Bar Proctor.
Okay.
It's probably like 3-hour listen audiobook.
Yeah.
Probably 3.5. Run that. It's gonna change your paradigm, change your life. 100%, no fluff, all value, all game. All he did was he turned a lecture that he did in a conversation that he had with someone that wanted to bring him on into an audiobook. That experience will change the situation. You won't be the same person after listening to that book or reading that book. Right. That's the first thing I would subscribe. Right after that, there's a book, 1 Minute Millionaire. So if you're in my coaching program or in my community, y'all even know this. But those are the first 2 things I would give, because you got to change your mindset. If you think in scarcity, you got a perspective problem. You're lacking something. You have what they call a blind spot. When you're driving in the car, there's a blind spot that exists.
For sure.
What is it going to make you do? It's going to make you turn your head.
Right.
Even if you adjust your mirrors, there's still a blind spot that exists. It's still a percentage of something that you can't see on the left and on the right. So you have to turn your perspective to get a clearer vision, right?
Yeah.
Even a Tesla got a blind spot, and they got cameras all around. That blind spot exists in the front. You can't, if you got a Tesla, unless you do a aftermarket camera, and I don't know about the Cybertruck because I ain't been in a Cybertruck, but every other Tesla, unless you add in an aftermarket camera in the front, that blind spot exists in the front. You cannot see, if you pulling up to a car, you cannot see how close you are to the car. It's a blind spot. You can see the back, you can see the sides, you can see below. You can't see the front. It exists as a blind spot. So that is a blind spot. It's a limited space. You know what else perpetuates blind spots?
What's
Friends, family, music, radio, sports. The same bullshit that you've been conditioned to, that thing that you're holding on to that you just can't get over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the reason why we can't get over death is because we haven't been properly taught death.
So how do we get over it?
You need a parents, friends, people that went through loss to give you their perspective. It should be a healthy conversation to even read about death, because death is not a sorrow. It's literally part of life, right? It's just a part of life that we ignore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't talk about the bad part of life. We don't talk about the depression and anxiety and like there's a girl you really, really like, and you're anxious and you finally muster up the courage to speak to her, and she totally ignores you. And then that is so detrimental that it affects you, and then it stops you from making the next move. Right. When that is a part of life. Because maybe if you continue to show up and provide value or just be in this girl's space, 6 months later, that's your girlfriend. Or 6 months later, that's one of, that's a really good friend of yours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People want shit to be perfect, bro. I come in, I meet Corey, he loves me, podcast is fire, we best friends, we make money. Every story ain't like that. There's enemies that, let's say sports. I hate this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate him. And then they end up being best friends or whatever the case may be. Or I love this guy. You know what I'm saying? He's cool, but on the back end, he does something crazy.
Right.
Those are real stories. But the story in your mind is the perfection story that don't exist. But that's how everybody wants it to be. You know what I'm saying? That's how people want it to be. They want it to be perfect.
Right.
It ain't always like that. Now, as you get older, you might get a little bit more protected. Like, okay, cool. I can't get a friend as fast as we're hooping and he passes me the ball a lot. We give each other the head nod. But every time I go to the court, he's selecting me, I'm selecting him. Oh shit, we're friends. Let's go get a smoothie. It don't happen like that. You get older, you're like, I don't know about this dude. Let me see what he about. Let me fact check his sign. All right, he's solid. He's consistent. Let's roll. You know what I mean? That's how it is when you become adult. You gotta be a little bit more guarded. When you're in a space of chasing your dreams and your goals, you gotta be more protected. You gotta protect your space. Everybody can't be in your space.
Right. And
you also gotta do self-audits. Sometimes you gotta kick a motherfucker out your space that's in your space. Because you're growing and they're not. I mean, that's major. And that's what you gotta do. So
this is really good gems right now, man. This is the coaching session has started right here. I'm loving it, man. And I love the thing you just said. There is no competition. I'm really taking that in right now.
It's a figment of most people's imagination.
So let's go back to the podcasting for a second. What would you say are the top 3 mistakes podcasters make? And then what are some hacks?
Not productizing is number 1. Right? So not productizing, posting and hoping.
Okay.
Right? And then literally not collecting the data. Right? So if you this is what most podcasters do. Oh shit, I got episode 1 about to drop. It's gonna be crazy. I got Sexy Red coming on. Y'all can't miss the episode. That's a Monday. You post it.
Yeah.
Oh, new episode, y'all check it out. That's a Tuesday. Listen, y'all, new episode. That's it. Dead. Next week we got a new one. They don't do nothing, right? Or they just post on Instagram, Instagram and YouTube. They don't hit all the other platforms: X, email, text message. You know, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Rumble, Facebook groups, Reddit. You know what I'm saying? They're not hitting nothing else. They're just hitting Instagram and YouTube. They're excited for 72 hours and they move on to the next episode. That's what most podcasters do, is posting and hoping. So that ain't gonna do nothing for you. Because first of all, no one knows about your channel.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram got it bad. Instagram has it so bad right now that organic almost doesn't even exist anymore. They want you to pay to get people to your page. If you ain't making fire clips or fire reels, they're not even coming to your page.
Mm-hmm.
If you just have podcast clips, they're not really gonna perform unless you have somebody on there that really knows how to create moments, right? To give the content an opportunity,
right? Attention,
right? They don't productize, meaning they don't know how to take the show and package it. So if you don't take the show and package it into offers, you can't make no money. Because in their mind, you can ask every podcast. After this, you can literally just ask somebody that got a podcast. How do you make money with your podcast? Yeah, man, sponsorships, brand deals, YouTube money. That's what they're all gonna say. I don't know where they got that from, but that's literally what they're all gonna say. Right? So they don't productize. And also, one of the biggest things, they're not collecting no data. So there's a segment of the audience that rocks with you, right? Let's say Corey that loves 3 Questions Pod. But if you're not pulling them, if you're not telling them to subscribe to anything, if you're not collecting name, number, email, you can't even give them value if you want to. You can't even make money because you can't even connect and reach out to the people.
Right.
So those are the 3 things right there, and it's basic.
Right.
If all you do is post and hope and rock with 2 platforms,
good luck,
bro. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're brand new. If you're brand new YouTube channel, brand new Instagram, good luck for real. You know, so those are the 3 problems right there. They need what I call a 4P strategy. Podcast post promo plan. What do you do? What are the 4 to 10, maybe 15 steps you take once you post a podcast episode? And posting plus these steps is the release. It's the rollout for each episode. It's the equivalent of an artist spending whatever time they spend in the studio cooking up a song, release a song, and then wait for mad streams to happen. Now, can that happen? Yes. Is the percentage of that happening high? No. I mean, bro, I got one of my best friends, man. He did a song during COVID, over 50 million streams right now. He told not one person that was his song, and then 2, click this link or subscribe here or join my list. Do you know even if 1% of that, what is 1% of 50,000? 500? Something like that? 500 name numbers, emails. He could have toured on that one song. You know what I'm saying? People aren't doing that. They're just doing what they think is the work, and it's not the work.
Right.
Shooting a pod is not the work. It's the easy part. The work happens after you post the podcast or while you're posting the podcast. Right. Even right now, the work is, okay, what I'm gonna ask my guest. That's the work.
Right.
You know? And it's like, okay, yeah, I might have the questions I'm gonna ask them. I have an idea of what I'm gonna ask her. But what can I ask, or how can I take the conversation so it gives me the opportunity to make a spicy clip? So that clip can go crazy.
Right.
You know, and I think those are what people should be thinking about. If you're not doing those basic things, you just making content, which is fine, but don't expect much of it.
Gems. Rich, I think I already got my money's worth.
Well, I didn't get my money worth. Cut the check. Cut the check. My Zelle is.
Here's a question for you that a lot of people are very curious about.
You know, somebody wanted me to pay them to come on their podcast.
Someone wants to pay you.
This is the thing. I don't mind paying.
Yeah.
But like, you gotta know your value.
Right.
I have to say this because, I gotta let people know this.
Okay.
All right. And I want them to understand this from their perspective. All right. So a dude wanted me to pay him to come on his show so he can ask me how to monetize his podcast. And I'm the people's champ with the podcasting. I didn't say this. They tell me I'm the podcast king, whatever, right? So I'm gonna go on his show. I'm gonna give him the steps so he can monetize and make bread. But he wants to charge me to come on the podcast. Record the content that we're collaborating on, but then I can't bring a camera to record me and get my own content.
Make that make sense.
Make that make sense, bro. So you want to steal from me. Basically, you want to steal from me right? And then have me pay you for the content I collaborated with you on, but
Right.
you're giving me the questions and I'm providing all the value.
Right.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't.
It don't. So, to that guy, pay me, bro. That's the only way I'm coming on the show. And for y'all have to understand the value exchange. There's nothing wrong with paying, but you have to understand, is the guest have more value than me? In that case, if the guest is asking for payment, I'm going to pay.
Right.
Do I have more value than the guest? In that case, maybe they're paying me.
Right.
If there's no payment involved, that's fine. But then and to figure out how y'all can monetize, which takes us back to the productization, the data collection. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like just simple things like that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense because I know some people feel funny about the whole payment thing, but it definitely has to make sense for both parties. 100%.
Yeah. And again, it don't like this is other strategy I'm going to be teaching, like, how you can make money with your guests. There's a lot of ways for you to make money with your guests, but you have to think about it's about value.
Right.
It's about value or value exchange. So if you don't have the value, you can't really take it to where you want to take it.
For sure.
And you thinking about money on the front end is also what's stopping you from making money. Right? So he's like, yeah, bro, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, I'm not coming. So you lost out. That stopped you from what we could do because you weren't on money, which is why they need this education of how they can monetize, because he clearly is uneducated, which is why I didn't go on the show, because him thinking about getting money on the front end stopped him from making money on the back end or consistently after.
Right. Short-term thinking. I've seen that happen numerous times, but well said. So this question comes up a lot. People are always wondering, are there certain social media platforms that are better to post your clips or to promote your podcast?
Yeah, I think right now Facebook is being very generous because I think Facebook is kind of like it. Facebook is like your ex-girl, and she finally realized what she lost. Right? You was rocking with her tough, like what, 10, 15 years ago? Y'all broke up because she thought she was better than you, or she thought that, she undervalued your value because maybe you was on a come up. So she moved on a couple different relationships, but then she sees you like, damn, he's really, or she's really, damn, coming up. That come up is Instagram, right? So now she's like, you know what? Remember you asked me to cook? Remember you asked me to clean? Remember you asked me to help support you in this way? I want to do that. So just spend some time with me. Come back
so
over here.
That's Facebook right now.
That's Facebook right now. So Facebook is allowing you, is more generous with organic. Right now, like I said, Instagram organic almost doesn't exist. They got a brand new rollout subscription program, right? Where they're charging $149, $300, you know what I'm saying? Just so people can see your page.
Interesting.
And they give you these other fake metrics and stuff like that were free, but now it's a value add, right?
Right.
They already charge you for a badge to make your verification, to make you more verified, which doesn't necessarily safeguard your account, but whatever. Yeah. You don't even need that no more, technically, right? And then you need ads. At some point, it's important for you to even run a $5, $10 ad so you can bring new traffic to your page so they can be aware of what you got going on. So organic almost don't exist. You need to hit the nail with the hammer on fire clips for you to get some reach.
Right.
Or do something viral, controversial, or whatever, just to get people to your page. But if you go back to the ex and spend a little time, she being nice to you right now. So I think Facebook, I think LinkedIn's always generous because LinkedIn's an interesting platform because people typically aren't bringing that type of content to that platform. So it's a good way for you to also be discovered.
Right.
So that's good too. I would say that. And then I think Twitter is still, X. I think that's still underrated. Yeah. I think because it's a conversation. You could tweet all day, bro. No one's gonna be like, damn, you tweeted 40 times. So you could tweet all day with links to the pod, conversational pieces, quotes. I think doing those three plus what you got going on is helping. Also, email. I think email is good too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The email list is something I've personally been sleeping on, but I've heard there's so much value behind that. Facebook, well, I guess I have to reactivate that Facebook account now because now you're telling me.
Yeah. I mean, one thing is there's a lot of free platforms that we can take advantage of. So I think we should take advantage of them.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Or hire someone on your team to do that. Like if you're just posting and hoping, let's post and hope on multiple platforms.
Right.
You know what I mean? Give yourself a higher chance. It's kind of like if you got $10 and you could do a quick pick, but you only put $1 down, you might as well just put the $10 down, bro. Give yourself 10 opportunities.
More chances.
You know? Or if we going to the fair and you paying $2.50 for a shot, you know, like a hoop shot, but you can pay $5 and get,
for sure,
you know, 5 shots or whatever, 6 shots. Pay the $5.
Right.
It's more value. You didn't really lose nothing. You just gave yourself more opportunities. Right? Because it's not even chances, it's opportunities. Right? So that's what I would say. I think going on those platforms would definitely help. Yeah, and then collaborations. I think people sleep on those too. You know, like, let's say, I'm not saying you do this, but let's say this comes out, you drop 8 clips, you don't even collaborate with me on none of them. Like somebody just did that. They just like 6 clips of me. I was on a podcast, they just tagged me in them. It's like, bro, just do a collaboration.
Right.
Like, that don't even make no sense. You're like, I did this with you. Just collaborate. Like, now you get my audience.
Right.
You know, so I think that's a missed out opportunity.
100%. So what do you see the future of podcasts? Because you're saying, like, based on this discussion so far, this conversation.
Bro, $200 billion industry.
What are we at right now?
Right now we at $100 billion.
Okay.
Like top right now, right? Joe Rogan signed his second $200 million plus podcasting deal.
Right.
One guy. So one guy, basically $500 million just off of Spotify deals, and not even talking about the other money he getting from other people. That's a lot of room. That's why saturation don't exist. If saturation existed, he would be the only show. There'd be no room for nobody. Oh, Joe Rogan sucked all the air out of it. But nah, there's mad room. So if you tell me right now, 200 billion at the moment is like the trajectory over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
That means a lot of these businesses are putting money into the space. I just spoke in London at a podcast conference called The Podcast Show. Do you know how many different corporations sponsored that mere event? Then how many different corporations have booths? So many, bro, hundreds. They all paid at least 3 bands to be involved in it, let alone the booth. So the booths are like €5, which is, you know, euro is more valuable than $1 right now.
Right.
So companies want to invest. So give them a place to invest. So there's so much opportunity here. And then think about like, where did you speak another language?
Do you count Jamaican as another language?
Yeah, that counts.
I'm being funny.
That counts. So, all right. Yeah. So, I mean, does your podcast have presence in Jamaica?
It does, but not a strong footprint.
So, boom, that's a whole nother audience.
Right.
You're ignoring them. Shit, I'm ignoring my Irish and Scottish people because I guess that's in my DNA.
Right.
But what I'm saying is like, just flipping a pot in another language is a whole nother audience.
Right. I've been hearing that some people using the AI translation to extend their reach into different languages.
My whole thing is, man, 1,300 podcasters. I want to aspire to make at least a band. Super easy to do.
Right.
Super easy to do.
Dude, I gotta say, I know the whole session hasn't started this evening, but
the mixer.
The mixer.
Yeah. I mean, the mixer. We gonna be mixing.
I'm getting my jams early, Rich. I appreciate you, my guy.
We gonna be mixing.
I feel like you was like, this is all part of the plan. Nah, I'm playing though. But no, great gems though. There's something you said earlier. Actually, this is what I was thinking about.
Y'all said a lot of stuff.
Slip my mind. Slip my mind. Do you feel like it's necessary for a new pod to be investing in ads, or do you feel like they should really be focusing on that organic growth?
I feel like a new podcast right now needs to productize right now. I don't believe you should go into debt off the rip. I do a weekly workshop every Sunday and Thursday completely for free where I teach podcasters how to make their first 100K. So I believe that you should use what I call the foundational 4 to set your podcast up to make 100K. I don't think you should go in debt off the rip. You know what I mean? If you already have a budget, you know, yeah, sure, run some ads, but don't run no ads with no offer. Like for instance, right? I have a client and, you know, 6 months in, they're like, yo, I got to scale back. You know, like, budget wise. I'm like, why? It's getting more expensive. I'm like, why? Because you're not monetizing. Bro, that's the killer. If you got a podcast and you doing episodes, it's like, it's super exciting. Let's say you and I did a show together.
Right.
Like, we're like, yo, let's do this podcast. You know what I'm saying? The C&B podcast. You know, we're excited.
I actually kind of like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, go on, continue.
We're excited. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
We're shooting.
Yeah.
Boom. Five episodes in. Shit, we paying for the studio. We're paying for the internet. We're paying the edit. You know what I mean? We're paying the podcast host. We're paying. Let's say we out like I don't know, 800 episode. Let's just say 800 times 5. What's that? 4 bands.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, it's getting heavy, bro. Like, I mean, I don't know if I can keep doing it. What if you're like, nah, we good, bro? I don't know, bro. I don't know if we can keep doing it. You know why we can't keep doing it? Because we're not making no bread. And that's a killer for creators.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you just go like, yo, this is a great idea, I want to do this, but you don't figure out the formula to make money, you're gonna stop. You're literally gonna stop.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out, how can I monetize this thing? And that's the same thing like with the client example. Right. He had to scale back because no matter how many times I tried to share with him how we can productize, they're not taking the steps to productize, right? Which is gonna which is going to absorb, right, some of that budget or just cover the budget. Right, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to Miami, and I'm gonna tell the story more. I moved to Miami, bro. I'm paying double what I paid in LA. My expenses is up. I still have a place in LA. You know how I can afford this? From podcasting. My expenses is probably, I gotta audit them again, but I'm probably paying like $15 a month. Like with LA still.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's free. I'm living free, bro. Because this asset covers it.
Right.
And that's how people need to think. If I can create something that I enjoy doing, and I can figure out how to monetize this thing, and I can get the monetization of this asset to equate to what my expenses are, I'm free. I'm like, now I have clarity to think. You know what I'm saying?
How long did it take you to get there?
It's just math, bro. And just to be specific, get where?
Mm-hmm.
Where we getting to? How long does it take to get where?
To the point where you're free. You mentioned the word
I guess
free.
it depends. I mean, okay.
For you, whatever freedom is for you.
So if you're thinking about monetization,
mm-hmm.
right? If you're thinking about monetization, let's look at, I always like to bring it back to your budget.
Okay.
So if your budget is 5 bands, like, okay, I'll give a real example. Had another client. Actually, no. It's challenge week. So challenge is where I teach for 5 days, bring on some guests, provide value, and then give an offer. Mm-hmm. But I'm teaching basically 12 hours, right? So I had a client, we go through this exercise. I'm like, how much is your budget? He's like, $3K a month. I'm like, all right, cool. So you need to make $3K a month. Once you hit $3K a month, you're basically free to think, or you don't have that stress of damn $3K or whatever, right? You can spend more time with your family, your daughter, or whatever the case. So it's $3K. So if you learn to productize your pod and we package it and you have some offers, let's say you have an offer that is $1,000 a month, or
mm-hmm.
$1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just need to sell 3 of those things, not 50, not 100, 3 sales, and then it's $3K, right? Or maybe you build what I like to call like your podcast community, right? And that's for the smaller percentage of people that want more. Mm-hmm. So there's a percentage of people right now that want more of the 3 questions pod. Do you have a paid community?
I don't.
All right, so that's why they're frustrated with you, because you're not allowing them to get more. They can't tap in. They got no vote on the guests. They got no after hours conversation. There is no meetups. You know what I'm saying? You ain't teaching them. I'm just giving you examples.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it.
So if it's $99 a month and you need to get to 2,000, then that's what? 300 people?
Right.
At $99 a month.
Yeah.
So you're like, damn, if I get to 300 people that pay me $99 a month, that's $3,000 a month. But now my podcast is making $36,000 a year.
Right.
Off of these 300 people. Is that math right? 30. Thank you. I knew it. That's like 30,000, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks a lot. Shout out to Rich with the math. But 30 people, fam.
Yeah.
30.
I see
You know what I'm
you
saying?
I see what you did there.
30 people, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you was going Kendrick me, man.
Nah.
I was like, listen, I come here in peace.
Nah, 30 people. So,
Yeah.
30 people, not 300 views,
Mm-hmm.
not 3,000 downloads, not 5,000 subscribers. 30 folks or 3 folks can get you to that 3K number that, you know, for some podcasters or creators seems so elusive.
Right.
But literally, if you provide value for 30 people, your podcast is making 36 bands.
Right. So on that note, because you brought this up a couple of times, productize.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, because a lot of people,
Answer's no. I don't feel like no.
a lot of people talk about those ad dollars,
Yeah.
sponsorships. We talked about this earlier. Do you think a lot of people are spinning their wheels going for that first?
Yeah,
before
because that's what they
productizing?
think. That's how they think to monetize. It's
Mm.
kind of like, let me give you a good example. So it's like when you go to play, okay, let's say you go to play basketball and you just right hand dominant.
Right.
And everything you do with right hand. You shoot with the right hand, layups with the right hand. You even go to the left side, you do the right hand layup on the left side.
Congrats to your Celtics, by the way.
Hey man, listen.
I'm not a Celtics fan, but I'm giving you
you should be.
flowers.
You should be. I mean, I would be if I lived in Toronto. Y'all got one chip by accident. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Oh man,
I'm pretty sure y'all not gonna get another chip. I'm pretty sure. I'm really sure y'all not gonna get another chip.
And you robbed about 3 different organizations through Danny Ainge, but it's okay. All right.
Robbed? What the Lakers do then? You know what I'm saying? They just put. I call that putting together some good deals.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Wow.
I'm taking it from all sides over
here. So back to the basketball analogy.
Yeah.
Right hand dominant.
Yeah.
And then finally you learn, like, oh, I can use my left hand.
Mm.
I could do things on this side.
Mm.
This is crazy. Like, oh, I'm crossing over on the left now. I'm crossing over on the right. Like, it's just, you learn that, well, first of all, who told you that you can only use the right?
Mm.
No one told you that you can only make money in podcasts to do sponsorships and brand deals.
Right.
Or having a large audience, YouTube money. No one literally told you that. So where did they get that from? They just assumed. The assumption, the industry standard is that belief that doesn't exist. Like, y'all just came in like, that's how I'm going to do it. Like, nah, first of all, your podcast sucks. So who the hell is going to be subscribing to your week pod?
Mm-hmm.
But your podcast can suck, but you can still have people that love you and rock with you. It's still easier for you to monetize through the foundational 4. But you really got to be strategic with growing the show if you're only focused on Google AdSense, because you got to have views.
Right.
And you ain't going to get views through regular conversations. No one cares that much about you. You got to have fire guests, or you got to use strategy, or you got to be controversial, or you got to say some outlandish things.
Right.
Like, I believe in Satan, but I don't. But I'm just saying that's viral.
I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I believe in God. I gotta watch that way. That, you know what I'm saying? I gotta watch that away. But basically, that's what it is. Like, if you take that clip out, people are gonna be sharing that. Like, literally, if you just clip out that little of what I just said, that's shareable.
Yeah.
People gonna share that. Oh my God, this dude said. Yo, you see what this dude said? Oh my, like, that's shareable.
Controversy sells.
So you have to, like, okay, I'm gonna make controversial content, or I'm gonna remix some content.
Right.
You know, or I'm gonna do something different. That's why I like podcasts, like, on the street. Like, even though street interviews is interesting, you know, there's a dynamic to it.
Right.
Like, I think studio podcasting is almost dead.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I feel like everyone's trying to go in that direction. Like, everyone's using
dead.
like the Diary of a CEO model, which I love,
Yeah.
Stephen Bartlett, but like I feel like everyone's trying to.
It's kind of dead, bro. You know who I feel like does a really good job combining studio podcasting with, like, lifestyle? It's Nelk Boys. Nelk Boys, bro. If you watch the Nelk Boy episode, it's never the same. They ain't never in the same environment. And he always has some type of intro. All right, guys, look, today, man, we got Corey on the show. Corey You know what I'm saying? He's a fire podcaster
Yeah.
in Toronto. You know what I'm saying? And he flew down here today. Guys, look, I'm in Miami right now, and it's crazy. So listen, today's episode is going to be absolutely fire. He always says, it's going to be absolutely fire. It's going to be a fire episode. Oh, yo, by the way, this is new merch right now. You guys want to get the merch? Click the link in the bio. Let's go to the pod. They got a little intro, and then they're in the space. And that space is always different, right?
Yeah.
They did a pod in Dubai. Same shit. So you gotta provide color. Like that intro's a hook.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta provide some color, get a little signature. That might be, a short little intro or something. Like bringing some B-roll. Like I did one of my most recent pods I did with Goldie, young Goldie.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to him. And like, bro, I have my Osmo, which is one of my favorite cameras, Osmo Pocket 3. I literally filmed, and I had shout out to David. We filmed an intro of him coming in with the rolls. That's a hook. I mic'd him up. He had a little conversation in the car. That's the intro.
Right.
So before you even get to the episode, you're like, okay, this is, all right, we about to watch this. What's this?
Yeah.
So I think you got to combine like other elements with the studio.
Right.
So if your podcast is literally in the same spot every single time, unless your guests are like really, really interesting, people are going to get tired of that.
That's a good point. You got to add some theatrics to it.
Yeah, something.
Last question. Throughout all your wins and losses, the highs and the lows, what do you believe the best lesson you've learned thus far in your life?
The best lesson I learned this far in my life is to have a solid routine. Always invest in yourself and stretch your goals. And I think one of the biggest things I can say is whatever you think you want to achieve, you got to do 10x that. I know it's on some Grant Cardone shit, but that's really what it is. It's never going to be as easy as you think to get there. You got to do 10x more. And honestly, being successful in 2024, 2025 is easier than you think if you do the work. Because most motherfuckers is lazy. Like, they're lazy. I just moved to Miami, bro. This is my 4th event. I already got the 5th and the 6th event. And shout out to Rich, because I almost wasn't going to do this because I'm like thinking about my goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I invest my time in the next thing, then I know this is going to hit. You know what I'm saying? So Rich held me accountable. You know what I'm saying? He had a conversation with me. I'm like, bro, you right. So boom, I'm doing it. But event 5 and event 6 is already in motion. There's motherfuckers here that got podcaster in the space. They ain't not doing events. Or they're not teaching the people, bro. I'll teach one person in the room. I don't give a fuck. Because if I know if I inspire this person, they're going to be good. But even if they're not inspired, guess what? I got better. It's really about you getting better. It's you versus you. Ain't no competition, but the past version of you, that's really your enemy. Because the past version of you is comfortable as fuck.
Facts.
They're like, yo, remember that thing you did? We want to stay there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Remember Toronto winning the championship and how you felt? we want to. What was that? 2015?
2019.
We want to stay there, bro. We want to stay there. Those were the good times. You know what I'm saying? Those were the good. That was 10 years ago. Damn near. Those were the good times, bro.
Well, there were good times. We've taken a lot of hits recently,
but that's what I'm saying. And shout out to Toronto. I'm just talking shit because I really love Toronto. I love the city. It's probably my second favorite city, I would say, in the whole America. Yeah. Not United States, America. It's damn near the United States. Toronto is Canada, though.
Pretty much.
Toronto can't. Well, shout out to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Shout out to Montreal too.
Yeah, Montreal.
But shout out to Toronto, 100%. Yeah. It's a great place. It's diverse, beautiful women. The culture is very eclectic. Good food. It's a great place to live, minus how cold it gets. You know what I'm saying? But if you can bear the wintertime, it's a great place.
Yeah. So Brandon, for my listeners that are like really engaged and like, yo, how can I get more? What's the best way for them to get in contact?
Can you pass me my phone real quick? So, all right, I'm gonna give y'all. Okay, cool. I'm gonna give you 2 things real quick. All right, you can go right now to podcast2profits.live. Podcast2profits.live. I do a free workshop literally every Thursday and Sunday live. Teach you how to make 100K with your podcast. So I would do that. The next thing, I have to look at my phone because I recently just got this brand new number. So I want to make sure that people can hit me directly. So I want to give you this number real quick. I haven't learned it yet. 213, text the word podcast. Okay, podcast. 213-214-6999. 213-214-1639. 213-214-1639. So go to podcastofprofits.live or text podcast to 213-214-1639. That's the best way for them to get in contact if they want more value. And then also on every single platform, it's Brendan Boyd.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that concludes this episode of 3 Questions.
That was way more than 3 questions, by the way.
For sure. That concludes this episode of 3 Questions with Corey Kareem. And for my listeners, you guys know I always like to end each episode saying this. Sometimes you don't need to hear anything new. You just need to know that somebody else went through it too. So with that being said, Brendan and myself are out. Peace and love, guys. We out.
Peace.
Clockwise, 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 clockwise.